Remember Turtle Mania from the early 90s?
Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell.
When TMNT dominated kids' TV and inspired an endless parade of copycat shows? In fact, film and TV production company Saban Entertainment even produced the English version of one such show themselves in 1990 called Samurai Pizza Cats, which actually referenced the turtles in the theme song.
They're so bad, they've got more fur than any turtle ever had.
Would that be considered shots fired? Well, I guess not, since turtles actually don't have fur. Anyway, Saban did it again 2 years later, with one of their own hit distributed properties, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Which gave us Hip Hop Keto. I can't do that.
Okay, that's pretty good, pretty good.
In 1993, there weren't many American tokusatsu shows like Saban's Power Rangers. But 3 years later, there were tons of them. VR Troopers, Masked Rider, Mystic Knights of Tir Na No, second best crew of 1990s. King Arthur Squad was way better. And of course, my favorite title ever, Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, or TTAFFBH for short. Is it shorter though? Which had some seriously inappropriate scenes for kids' TV.
Think of something you like to see. Righto.
Pinky.
But only one of Saban's copycat shows could accurately be described as Power Rangers on acid. That's right, Beetleborgs, which also had its own fair share of questionable scenes.
Oh, yes, a little lower, a little lower.
Okay, questionable might be putting it a little too lightly. Also, creepy music choice there, Beetleborgs. I mean, Big Bad Beetleborgs, also known as Beetleborgs Metallics. Yo, what was the deal with all the long-ass names back then? Well, at least it's not TTAFF, you know which one I'm talking about. I love Big Bad Beetleborgs because it's one of the most original copycat shows ever. I mean, it's got Munsters doing the Macarena. All right, it ain't no hip-hop keto, but not bad. Still can't do that shit, and I'm never going to. Beetleborgs looks like a typical kids action show, but it's actually a modern-day monster sitcom that's more like a sequel to The Munsters, which is truly a crazy combo. Remember what I said about acid? This is everything you didn't know about Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Wow, look, I'm a tokusatsu star, which means my gestures won't really match my dubbed over voice. But that's okay because I can dub over all my cursing, like mother yaw.
Beetleborgs was totally nuts, even by tokusatsu standards. For the uninitiated, tokusatsu is a popular form of live-action superheroes / monsters / giant monster TV show in Japan. American production companies purchased those shows, reused the action scenes, and dubbed it over with new VO.
We gotta think of something.
How about we get the AVs and scrape them off Main Street?
I'd love to.
That's a lot of unnecessary head nodding, I'm just saying. Companies like Saban Entertainment saved a lot of money by shoehorning pre-existing fight scenes into new shows, which explains why fights would happen in crazy places, like why the Beetleborgs' giant Roboborg would just randomly fly to space and fight. I don't know why.
May the best robot win.
Beetleborgs appeared on Fox Kids from 1996 to 1998.
Only on Fox Kids.
It lasted 2 seasons and 88 episodes total. To describe it properly, we gotta go through the theme song step by step because it's bananas. Cue the most 90s kids rap song ever.
Big Bad Beetleborgs. Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Big Bad Beetleborgs. You gotta admit, that's a pretty dope chorus. It was composed by Jeremy Sweet and Billy Forrester. Shuki Levy, one of the creators of Power Rangers and co-founder of Saban Productions, composed music for the show as well. Now, here's the insane premise. 3 typical average kids inside a haunted mansion.
Just by chance, Rita goes to make them Beetleborgs.
And here's where the f***ing drugs kick in. They accidentally play an old organ that frees a ghost named FLABBER.
FLABBER!
Nah, not Flubber, FLABBER. You know, the magic ghost, or Phasm, short for Phantasm, as the show calls him, who's a cross between Jay Leno and the genie from Aladdin. He's so happy to get out of the organ prison that he grants the kids a wish.
Hey, look now, they're superheroes armed with superpowers. Taken from a comic strip, and now they're Beetleborgs.
Whoa, hold up. I've seen that pin gun somewhere before.
It's Dream Phone, the electronic game with the talking phone. To win, call guys, get clues, figure out which guy really likes you.
No, I've never seen that in my life. I'm talking about the Time Crisis gun. Anyway, FLABBER gives the kids the powers of their favorite comic book heroes, the Beetleborgs.
Wait a minute. What's going on? We're stuck in the comic book.
Which is actually a clever premise. Then throw in a bunch of wacky monsters who basically are the Three Stooges. It's so random, yet that's what makes this show so great. It crams so many of the things a kid can love into one show. Robots, sword fights, monsters, comic book heroes, and fun action sequences with futuristic cars and jets. But here's what makes its tone so different. It's actually pretty funny.
I'll change myself into a bat. Batter up.
Come on, that's solid wordplay, no? Well, at least they tried. Most of Power Rangers copycat shows were mostly serious and would never have a character named Booger Man.
Why do they call you the Booger Man?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Because of the boogers, my dude. Also, let's be clear, there can only be one Booger Man, and it's this one. But that was the tone of the whole show. Very broad and sitcom-y, like when FLABBER turns a haunted house into a hotel to pay for a home makeover.
A monster makeover.
It sounds like something out of the Munsters, right? And most plots were, except when the kids turned into Beetleborgs during each episode, which gave viewers your typical dose of American tokusatsu, but with a comic book twist. They even threw in the classic Batman zaps and whams for added effect. That was actually to cover up some of the more violent fight scenes. You know, it's pretty efficient. Cover up like blood and guts. Otherwise, this was basically Power Rangers. The three Beetleborgs were the same colors as three of the Power Rangers. They had very similar accessories, and the show placed just as much emphasis on selling toys. And it totally worked! Look at this bad boy. Who doesn't want FLABBER for the rest of their lives? Well, obviously the guy that we bought this off of on eBay. Now, the main difference between the Beetleborgs and the Power Rangers are that the Beetleborgs are kids, not teenagers, which makes their fight VOs much more wholesome.
See you in the funny pickles. Slime breath. Yeah!
Add one more to Drew's body count. Drew's the leader. He's called the Blue Stinger. His armor is inspired by the Japanese rhinoceros Beetle. He activates his telekinesis powers by nodding his head, which he uses by softly dropping trash cans on bad guys. That can't be that effective. Then there's Roland, the Green Hunter, whose armor was inspired by the Stag Beetle. All he has to do is snap his fingers, and he has super speed and super monster punch.
One monster burrito to go.
Okay, that was pretty good. By the way, his parents and Grandma Nano own the comic book shop Zoom Comics, where all the kids hang out, including some very 90s bullies named Van and Trip.
I just got promoted to president of the chess club.
Chess club my ass, those dudes are the softest bullies I've ever seen.
Don't be such a drip, Trip.
Also, if you look closely in the background of Zoom Comics, you can see a lot of props from Power Rangers, like the costume of evil villain King Sphinx. Also my favorite rapper. Kidding, there's no rapper named King Sphinx. It sounds like it though.
You said it.
But the real star of the show is Nano. She's incredibly cool, and everyone knows it.
You took that curve like a sissy. You gotta get low and mean to be mean.
Nano was played by Vivian Smallwood, who was a stage performer known as Rappin' Granny, and even appeared years later on America's Got Talent in 2006.
Kneel down to the queen. Bow that knee, yield. I have you right away, Granny's on a mission.
And finally, there's a third member of the team, Jo the Red Striker. She's Drew's little sister and had super strength, aka the ability to crush flimsy-looking props. The production budget on the show was not high, so they couldn't get high-profile actors. Though Alex Borstein from Mad TV
My name is Shonda.
and the voice of Lois Griffin from Family Guy
Peter, get down here.
did voice the villain Cataclaws.
Why have you brought me here?
Great name. The kids turned into Beetleborgs with a fun sequence where they yelled, "Beetle Bonders!"
Beetle Bonders.
which revealed them in their hands, and then yelled, "Beetle Blast!"
Beetle Blast.
And booyah, everybody's a Beetleborg. Why did they need to have Beetle Bonders at all? To sell toys, baby.
I'll throw in the sonic laser with a pulse saber to fight the forces of evil.
Evil?
And because it's you, a Beetle Commander.
All right, they're not Beetle Commanders, they're Beetle Bonders. You had one job, lady, come on. It's costing you sales.
Brain power. Not working.
And hang on!
The monsters all lived in the haunted Hillcrest mansion, which basically becomes the show's command center. Their leader is FLABBER, as mentioned. He's high energy,
I feel good.
goofy, and has all the costume changes you could ever want.
Make way for Cowboy Flabber! Woo!
My man is just going for it hard all the time. Give the actor Billy Forrester credit, though he may not need your credit or anyone else's credit for that matter, because he won 58 grand on The Weakest Link.
How do you know that?
It's on his Twitter page.
Flabber as I am.
Forrester reportedly sang the intro rap too. I mean, Flabber's so dope, he even comes with his own hype crew, the PIPETTES, who are ghosts that live in the organ pipes.
Here's Flabber.
Cool. Just like everything on this show. Like his monster friends who sound like they're from the Count Chocula universe.
Blueberry.
Count Chocula.
There's Frankenbeans,
Lucky Ducky.
Count Fangula,
Time for breakfast.
and the mummy named Mums.
This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot.
No, not Mims, Mums,
With all that shouting, you could wake the unliving.
who was way sillier, but obviously not as hot.
This is why I'm hot.
The monsters seem to be contractually obligated to appear in one Benny Hill style chase per episode. What a cool bunch of dummies. Though Frankenbeans wasn't as dumb as he seemed, as the actor David Fletcher actually wrote several episodes, which upon rewatch made me think. In the episode Big Bad Luck, Frankenbeans is trying to eat the kids. Why would Fletcher write his own character doing that?
It's a free lunch!
Well, he didn't. See? Smart man. Also, I just got his name Frankenbeans. That's good Now, as the series went on, a lot of episodes just forgot about the kids and followed the zany monsters and their hijinks, which included them being gooch punched by their pet werewolf, Wolfie. Ow. But the episodes did eventually always end up weaving together with the Beetleborgs action plots. In the first season, the Beetleborgs fight the evil MAGNAVORES,
The Beetleborgs are on the scene!
who all sound like Mortal Kombat villains, like TYPHUS,
But you didn't, did you?
Jara,
You ruined VEXOR's power phaser. He'll be so mad.
Noxic, and their leader, VEXOR.
My forces control the town.
Noxic's the one who sounds like angry Joe Pesci.
Hey, you know who you're talking to?
You mother you! Like that.
What the are you doing on TV anyhow?
Though I like their names more than the season 2 villains, when the show just gave up and named them the Crustaceans, because they looked like crabs.
Attack!
I think they should have called these guys the evil cacklers because that's their best skill.
Who doesn't love a good evil cackle? But really, most of the episodes involved an action sequence buttoned by everyone's pants falling down. Yaw!
This just underscores how different this show was from other American tokusatsu and Saban's earlier hit Power Rangers. They were more focused on martial arts and hokey dialogue.
I am her Green Ranger, and she is my Empress.
She's evil!
Yeah, and so am I.
But Saban was desperate to cash in on its success, so they quickly greenlit several other shows like Masked Rider and VR Troopers. Shows that were way more self-serious, which was the standard at the time.
Despair! Get down there immediately!
While Beetleborgs was very wacky early on, it also focused more on the conventions of American tokusatsu. Season 1 featured the monsters less and serious villains with overarching schemes, like the Shadowborg, and new heroes like the White Blaster Beetleborg.
Shadowborg, get ready, because your days are numbered.
Those Season 1 tokusatsu scenes were taken from the Japanese show called Juko B-Fighter or Beetle Fighter, which premiered just a year earlier in 1995. The end of the Shadowborg storyline marked the end of the first season, and with Season 2 came a refresh when the show was rebranded Beetleborgs Metallics. Not only did they change names, but the kids all got brand new Beetleborg suits, because they had to. Saban ran out of scenes they could use from Beetle Fighter since that show only lasted 1 year. So they had to pull from another tokusatsu show called B-Fighter Kabuto, which had similar Beetle-themed suits, but different characters altogether. But rebranding like this wasn't uncommon for American tokusatsu shows. In fact, it was good for Saban since the characters all got new upgrades, which meant more toys to sell in McDonald's Happy Meals. actually fits. It's crazy. The toys were made by Japanese toy maker Bandai, who made toys for Power Rangers, Gundam, and the Tick, which is actually maybe why we saw the Tick in the episode Convention Dimension.
Look, it's him!
Also, Spider-Man's in there too.
There you go.
The writers also wrote in an arc into season 2 with the introduction of the Astro Coins.
Who took those Astro Coins?
I love season 2 because that's when things get really experimental. Once again, the Beetleborgs meet the creator of the actual Beetleborgs comic book, Art Fortunes.
And that one's you, Drew.
Chromium Gold Beetleborg? Cool.
They met him in the first season, but this time he got a more prominent role. He also draws new heroes in order to fight the evil villains brought to life by Art Fortunes' crazed brother, Les Fortunes.
I am an artist, not a cartoonist.
As in Les Fortunes? I think that's what they're going for, but probably not.
Come on, is that the best you can do?
And this is when we all get all types of crazy new Borgs introduced, like the Dragon Borg, the Lightning Borg, and my favorite, Locatus.
From this time forward, you will service us.
Star Trek reference. You didn't think I could pull that off, could you?
Now, how come we didn't think of that?
But the second season is when Saban really began experimenting with the Power Rangers formula by introducing campier stories and more edgy jokes.
Bang boy.
It's also when the show truly realizes it's a sitcom, featuring goofy plots like in the episode Headless Over Heels, when Wolfie's old pal comes back to find his head.
He's trying to tell us something.
No head.
Or the episode Totally Slamming Sector Cycles, when the kids encounter a villain who can control them just by singing. I wonder if that's where they got the idea for Music Meister in Batman.
The Music Meister!
The comedic timing of Beetleborgs was actually really good, so we have to give it up to the writers and directors. Directors like John Putch, who's the son of actress Jean Stapleton. You know, Edith from All in the Family.
Those were the days.
That's pretty random. Here's the thing, while so much of this show is played for comedy, there's some up that happens if you stop and really think about it. Like innocent people getting beat up, like this poor hot dog vendor. Then there's endless body horror, like when Joe literally changes faces into a new person halfway through the series, thanks to Flabber's magic spellbook gone wrong, which was a pretty slick way to hide the fact that they switch actresses. Then there's more weird body horror episodes, like when Drew turns into a cat boy in Cat-astrophe. Not to mention this horrifyingly disturbing fire-breathing cat monster thing. Or when they did surgery on Frankenbeans to just get rid of his headache.
We may have to terminate the patient.
Good idea.
In order to get rid of his headache.
I'm gonna be real, as a migraine sufferer myself, I get it. Then there's the episode where the crustaceans release criminals from prison and nobody ever catches them again in the season 2 premiere, Metallics Rising. Or when they just kill characters in vicious ways when Flabber just melts to death.
Too late, kids. Flabber doesn't even look like Flabber anymore.
Those effects though, did we mention they didn't have the biggest budget?
Enough!
Then there's the newest monster added to the cast in season 2, Little Ghoul. She looks like a cute little Jawa on the surface, but underneath, she's much more disturbing.
If you insist.
Also, who on the set saw that and didn't anticipate probably getting sued? Oh, and in Attack of the Brainsuckers, everyone in their nano is getting their brains sucked out. And when their brains aren't being sucked out, the kids are constantly about to be eaten by all types of monsters.
They even provide free snacks here.
It was all pretty dark, but always played for laughs, which is the unique tone that made this show so popular. It reportedly had good ratings, but was canceled after 2 seasons because they ran out of tokusatsu to pull from. That's enough to make Frankenbeans cry.
Frankie, don't cry, it's only gonna be worse!
But it's the combination of darkness and goofy humor with the Japanese action sequences that made Beetleborgs the weird, unique Frankenstein, or should I say, Frankenbean, that we know and love.
Don't you love his enthusiasm?
It's what made it stand out so prominently over the crowd of Power Rangers copycats. That and rapping pirates.
My name is Blackbeard, Blackbeard the pirate, the baddest guy at sea.
So where does Beetleborgs go in the pantheon of Power Rangers copycats on your list? Did you have a favorite Borg, or was it a favorite side character? Yes? No? Let us know in the comments.
Did you like that? For more EYDK, make sure you click over there. And for new episodes I drop every other week, drop over here. Not drop. Click. Frankenbeans!